Hey guys, Clint here. If you are a new visitor, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to review the WordPress customizer to go about customizing your WordPress theme. Get it looking the way you want it to look. On brand, your specific color scheme, and just adding the different features and look and feel that you've envisioned and that you've always wanted to have when creating your blog. So let's get started. From your dashboard, we're going to go over to Appearance and Customize. And what I'm going to do today is toggle back and forth between a few different themes just so you have an idea of the different options and features and elements available to you to customize, because we're going to start with the 2019, the newest theme from Automatic, the WordPress team. It is pretty basic. There are, as you can see here, there are 6 different elements that you can customize. So it's like the basic of the basic. So I'm going to toggle between this, the free Generate Press theme, which is one of the themes that I recommend, and then another free theme, the Ocean WP theme, which both of those, Generate Press and the Ocean WP, have a premium version as well, but they both offer a free version, which we'll look at as well. So from here, let's just get to know the customizer a bit here before we even get started. So down here at the bottom, I want you to look at the desktop, tablet, and mobile views. This is a way to see how your theme is going to render on these different views. So as you're making changes, toggle between these to see how the changes look. So that's your tablet, and this is going to be your mobile. So again, as you're customizing, as you're making changes, be sure to toggle between all 3 to make sure that whatever element you're trying to change renders correctly, specifically in mobile. I know most people these days are reading blogs via mobile, and so you really want to make sure that your site renders well on mobile and has a great customer experience for those readers who are going to be reading your blog via their mobile device. So be sure to toggle between all 3 of these. You can also customize. There are going to be specific settings that you can set for each of the different renders. So whether you're in desktop, tablet, or mobile, you can select different padding sizes and set the margin and set different things based off the functionality of your theme, of course. Another thing, you can always hide the controls. I like to do this specifically for desktop only, so that way I can see the full screen and see how it's going to render on a full desktop. Otherwise, as you can see, it's responsive, so when the control slide out is open, the page is responsive and kind of shrinks a little bit if you see. So hide the control to see the full desktop view. Another thing, if you ever want to just exit the customizer, you're going to hit this X right here, and then if you are if you drill down into an element, you can hit this back button here to get back to the previous page. Last thing, I'm going to just make a change. I'm going to call this Test Blog 1. If you like the changes that you make, go ahead and either only publish when you're ready to actually have this thing be live. But click the little gear icon next to publish and you'll see a few other options. You can save it as a draft, or you can schedule a publish or discard the changes. So what I recommend you do every so often, every few minutes, is save your draft. Make sure you save your draft every few minutes, just so it saves your most recent changes. But again, you can always schedule a published date, or just go ahead and publish or discard as well. So now that that's out of the way, let's start with site identity, because that's our first element here that we can customize. So what you're able to do here is customize your site title and your tagline. So if you followed along on the blog with the part 1 of the series, where you actually installed WordPress, you had the option to create your site name and description. So this is where this is now saved. So of course they call it title and tagline here, but that's what this is. So, and I mentioned that you would have a chance to change this. So here it is. You can change this. You can change this to Clint's blog. I want the title to be Clint's blog, my newest project. That's my tagline. Make this something that is relevant to your blog, your brand. So this should be the name, probably the same potentially as your domain name, whatever name you've created for your site, have that there. Your tagline is just a quick one-liner. If you explain to someone what your blog is in one sentence, just literally a few words, that's what you would want to put here. You have the option to upload a logo, as well as a site icon. So let's go ahead and select a logo. I'm just going to use the logo for my actual blog as an example here. You would actually want to create some alt text or a title here. I'm not going to do that for this example. And then of course you can crop it and whatnot. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and so you can see what that looks like. And it's tiny, but I'm sure that's something that we can customize. I also want to upload a site icon and show you what this is. So I've created an icon here. I'm going to select that. Going to leave that the way it is. So as you can see the preview here, the icon shows up on the browser. So it's going to be to the left of your title. So whatever your title is, you'll see a little icon. So upload a site icon. This just adds a nice little touch for those who are viewing your site, whether on desktop or mobile. They'll see that little icon. You can also use it in other places, like a main nav, a sticky main nav or something, which we'll go over in just a minute. But this particular icon is transparent icon, which I made with Canva. Canva, real quick. This is not a tutorial for Canva, but Canva is great. It's free, although to get a transparent image, you do have to have a paid subscription. But you can just type in here logo, and it's going to pop up with all different template types. So if you see one you like, you can click on it, you can edit it, you can change the background color, change up the text. So you can easily create a logo with Canva. Definitely recommend that you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip cropping, and I have my site icon. And even, WordPress is pretty intuitive. It gives you a little description of what this is and what size it needs to be. And I don't know if you saw, but with Canva, a logo or an icon is automatically 500 by 500 pixels. So pretty close here. It just needs to be square. So, which is what that is. So be sure to create one of those and select that here, as well as your logo here. All right, we are going to go back. Actually, let's see how it renders. Ooh, does not look great, but it gives you an idea of what that looks like. All right, so let's go back and look at the next element. So for, well, let me say something about site identity. If we were to look at a different theme, let's look at that real quick. And we are now on the Generate Press theme. As you can see, title, tagline. What I like about the Generate Press theme is you have the option to hide these if you like. If you don't want those to show, you can hide those. Pretty neat feature. The 2019 theme does not have that. Let's go ahead and select a logo again. I've added another one, a transparent. And as you can see, I can actually crop this quite a bit more. I couldn't crop it with the 2019 theme like this. So I'm going to make it as small as possible so I just have the image shown. And I'm going to crop. And then I'm going to hide these because all I really want is my logo to show. Look at that. That actually looks beautiful. The 2019 theme did not. And then as you can see, the site icon is still there, which same functionality. So site identity, pretty much same functionality here with the free Generate Press theme as well. Let's look at one more. Let's look at the Ocean WP theme real quick. All right, we now have the Ocean WP free theme up here. As you can see, site identity, again, is very similar. You've got your title, your tagline. Again, you have the option to display it or not with this theme, which is nice. Also has the site icon. One thing is missing though, the logo is missing. Not to jump too far ahead, but just in case you're curious, it is down here under header and logo. You're able to add a logo. I just want to see what this actually looks like on this theme, and so I do have the option to crop again, fairly small, just like the free Generate Press theme. So that's a good thing. Ocean WP theme also has that functionality. I just want to see what it looks like on this theme. Okay, so that looks pretty good too. All right, good deal. I'm going to save the draft, and we're going to go back to 2019 to move on to the next section. And we're back to 2019, and the next element is going to be colors. This is really basic, guys. I actually don't recommend the 2019 theme necessarily. There are other free themes that have more features and more functionality that are going to be better than this one. However, more elements to customize, more features isn't necessarily a good thing. I mean, it can be because you can really customize it to your liking. However, it can also get overwhelming and it can be a lot. So sometimes simple is better too, especially in the beginning. So although I wouldn't necessarily recommend this theme, if you want simple, this is definitely going to be simple. So primary color, default or custom. So if we customize it, you can see the different color options here. There's not an RGB or a hex or anything like that. Literally just a slider where you just choose a color. So again, pretty basic here. I'm going to keep it that or go back to default. And then this little option here, apply a filter to featured images using the primary color. So if you want that color overlay on any feature images, you'll want that selected. I actually personally don't like that, but you can have that overlay if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Draft here. Let's go and check out Generate Press and Ocean W with colors as well. All right, we've got the Generate Press theme up now. And as you can see with the color element, we have quite a few other options that we can customize. A background color. Let's change this a little bit just so you can see how it changes the space between the different elements, container elements here. So you have the option to change that around, and with this you can actually choose a hex color as well. So if you know the number, like white, you can select that. Oh, one more, or whatever it is that you want to choose, you can do that here. That's background. And then just change it back to color. So select color to see the options and then to make it close. The color of your text, you can customize that. Link colors, link color hover. So the link color is going to be the color of any links, and then if you want to have a different color whenever it is you hover over it, then you do that here. So I'm going to make it like a dark, kind of a deep blue, and I'm going to make this a lighter blue. See how you see that change almost to a purple. Link color visited. So if once a link's been visited, if you want a different color, you can do that. Blog post title. I mean, I guess I won't go through every single one of these, although I almost have. You can customize all of that with the premium version, which is a one-time $50 payment. You have even a more robust color scheme option and customization functionality. So it's one of the themes that I recommend. It's actually the theme that I use on my blog, so I'm kind of partial to it. But for $50, you get a ton of tools, a ton of functionality, and this theme is super lightweight. So I do have an affiliate link back on the blog, so be sure to check that out. Not obligated to use that, but if you do, I make a small commission if you want to help me out. So pretty robust option for a free theme here. Let's go check out Ocean WP. All right, we're actually back to the 2019 theme because the only theme that we could customize under the color element with Ocean WP was the header text. So not a whole robust color scheme options with that free theme under the color element at least. So back at 2019, let's check out menus. So menus allows you to customize your main navigation or main menu. Now, currently we don't have any. Usually there is a default menu that either your theme or WordPress creates, but I may have deleted it by accident. So let's just take this time to create a new menu. So like create a new menu. I would recommend making the name pretty intuitive and user friendly, because keep in mind anyone could be reading this. So put it on maybe like a 8th or 9th grade level. Not to say that your readers are 8th or 9th graders, but just make it easy for people to understand and know what it is. So simply main menu or main navigation. Or you may even want to call it categories or something like that, but I'm going to just call it main menu. Menu location. So for the 2019 theme, you can have a menu location in the primary area, which I'll show you in a minute. The footer menu, which is down at the bottom. Primary is going to be just in this top section here. And then a social links menu that's specifically for like social share icons. So I'm going to select primary and footer for our main menu. All right, now we need to add some items. We don't have any items on our main menu yet, which we don't have much on this blog since it's just a test blog, but let's just go ahead and create some items. So you see the slide out come out to the right when you click add items, and you can add, for instance, like we do have a sample page, so let's add that, and let's add home. Let's add those two, which really actually want the home to show first. So you can simply grab it over here and move it up. So again, if you didn't catch that, you can just simply grab an element and move it to reorder it. Or you can click reorder here and use these arrows to go up and down as well. Let's see, that is all we have. If we have any posts, let's add a post too. Let's add the hello world post, just so we have a few options so you can see what this looks like. So, all right. You can see our primary main menu up here at the top. So we've got home, sample page, and hello world. And you don't have to worry about linking these. It automatically links it. So it knows what page this is. So when you click on sample page, it knows to take you to that sample page or the hello world post. So you just simply select the elements, the pages, the posts. Typically, you'll probably just kind of want pages or posts on here. But you may have other items as well, like maybe a video, a link to a video, or a landing page, or an opt-in form or something that you can put in there as well. And then home will take you back to the home page. So let's take a look at the footer, because we also added it to the footer. This is a bunch of lorem ipsum. Where is it at? Down at the very bottom, and here it is. So you can see we have home, sample page, and hello world. So there's your footer menu if you want one there as well. You do have the option to automatically add new top level pages to this menu. I wouldn't recommend that because you probably don't want every single page on your menu. Like you don't want your you may want your about page, but you probably don't want your privacy policy or your disclaimer or any other page that you have. You probably don't want that on your menu, so I wouldn't recommend that as well. You also have the option to delete if you decide you don't want to have the menu anymore. Or like I said, sometimes there's a default menu that you can either edit or delete and create your own as well. So that's menu. Let's take a look at the Generate Press theme menu options real quick. All right, we are back with the free Generate Press theme, and we have the main menu that we recently created. So just a quick note on that, as you change between themes, the content you create is transfers between the themes. So if you have a menu, or if you have posts or pages, or as you can see my logo, whatever it is, it transfers between themes. So changing themes is WordPress has made that seamless to where you can easily change themes. And now it's not always going to be 100% seamless. You may have to move certain things or tweak or adjust padding or margins or different things, but for the most part it should be pretty seamless. So we've got our main menu there. You can also create new menus. I'm not going to go through that again, but let's look at the locations here and see what locations we have. So we just have primary menu. So that's our only option right now is primary. So let's add that, and you'll see it show up here: home, sample page, and hello world. So there it is. So with the free Generate Press theme, your main menu is the primary menu, which is in the header area at the top, which you can see there. Let's see what it looks like on tablet. So it goes to the little hamburger with the slide down. Probably going to be the same with mobile. Your little hamburger with your little slide down options there. Let's take a look at Ocean WP to see what menu options they have. All right, so we now have the Ocean WP free theme up. We've got our main menu created that was created earlier. So this theme has 4 different locations where you can put menus. So that's why I wanted to show you this theme as well. So we have the top bar, which the top bar is going to be the uppermost element, area, content area within your blog or site. So it's going to be the very, very, very top above the header. So let's show you what that looks like if you were to add that there. It's going to be at the very top: home, sample page, hello world. I really like how that looks. I like top bars. My theme doesn't have that, although I could probably add it custom with CSS if I wanted to. It doesn't just come standard. It's not standard out of the box functionality. So you've got the top bar, you've got the main area. Let's go ahead and add it there as well, so you can see that. It's probably going to be right over here. So there's the main area. We also have a footer location. Let's add it there so you guys can see what that looks like. So there it is right down there. And then mobile. Optional. Yeah, well, for mobile, we probably want that. So let's see what that looks like when we go to mobile. There's a little hamburger, and it is like a slide out, like a full slide out that comes out. I'm actually not a big fan of that, but you definitely want to have probably a menu on mobile as well. Let's take a look at tablet and see what it looks like. Also the hamburger with the slide out. So if I were to say nothing on that, it's just a default. Home, sample page, hello world. Okay. Interesting. All right. So that gives you an idea of the menu locations for this theme. And again, your theme may be completely different. You may have more locations, fewer locations. You may just have like the primary or header area, which is going to be like this top area right over here. You may have a top bar. You may have an option to add it to your footer. And you can add different menus for those. So for instance, like I have a main menu area that I have on my primary like header area, and then I have a different menu for my footer that has like my privacy policy, my disclaimer, in different pages like that. Whereas up top I've got like categories. So create as many menus as your heart desires, and have them here. So for instance, you could have a different menu in the top bar is, the one that you have here. This could be, different pages. This could be, different posts. And then at the bottom, you could have like your privacy policy and disclaimer and things like that. So take a look at other blogs within your niche, or not even in your niche, just different blogs in general, and see how they have their main navigations, main menus set up, the locations they're at, and that'll give you some ideas of the different types of options that you have. So let's go back to 2019 and move on to the next element. All right, we're back to 2019 and we're going to look at the widgets elements. So with this theme, you only have one area to add widgets, and that is the footer area. So most other themes will have other areas like the right and left sidebar. You can add widgets typically to like the header, top area as well, or even within the content or the body, as some themes may allow. But this one, pretty basic again, only the footer area. So let's go down there to the footer and see. As you can see, you've got the search. As I hover, you can see it hovers over there to the right. You can also edit the elements within the content window as well, just by clicking on this button. As you can see over here to the left, it just dropped that down when I clicked on it. So you can edit over here or over here. But these are going to be, in order from top to bottom, as you see in the actual rendering over here. So search, recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta, which if you're following along, that actually is something I recommend that you delete. No one uses that or needs it. Kind of is a sign of a newbie blogger if you leave that there, so I recommend that you delete that. So let's actually go ahead and do that. Whoop. All right. Let's look at, how you can customize. So you can add a title. So this doesn't really need a title, but let's add a title just so you can see what that looks like. We call this search, or how about make it a little more fun, right? Like looking for something, and there you go. There's a title. So you can add a title. I think that's pretty much all you can do. For recent posts, you can also say how many show. So up to 5 posts. You can display the post date. Comments, how many you want to show. Probably the same thing for archives. And then the categories. So let's look at adding a widget. So if you click the little plus icon, add a widget, your slide out will come out. And WordPress by default has 17 widget areas, which you can add here. And just because there are 17 doesn't mean you need all 17 on your blog, but they are options to add. So if you want to add audio, a calendar, categories, or just some custom HTML, gallery image, meta, which don't do, a navigation menu, pages, Comments, posts, RSS, search, tag cloud, text, or video. You can add those here. So you can add a new one. Let's do it just so you see what it looks like. Let's add an image widget. This is an image widget. And let's add an image just so you can see. Let's do, bam, that one right there. See what that looks like. There it is. This is an image widget. Let's see what it looks like on mobile. There you go. There are your widgets. Okay, let's take a look at the Generate Press theme to see what kind of widget options we have there. All right, we are back to the Generate Press theme. And again, as I mentioned, WordPress is pretty intuitive. It knows, hey, your theme has 3 other widget areas, but this particular page doesn't display them all. So let's go to like the Hello World post, because I bet you that'll have a few more. So, but no, this says this page doesn't display them all either. So they may just not be, they may be like hidden or something. Because I think you have a right, a left, and then, oh, it has a top bar as well, and then header and footer. Oh, the Generate Press does have a top bar. Huh, I didn't know that. All right, so you can add widgets to sidebars, header, footer, and there's 3 different footer areas, which is pretty nice. So Generate Press has way more options for widgets. So I think right now it only has 2 active, or maybe 3, and one is just we're responsive. Okay, there it is. So when you hide the controls, you can see all 3. They're responsive, so they stack as the screen size gets smaller. So for instance, in mobile, the widgets stack on top of each other. You can see that right there. So you've got three widget areas there. You've got your right sidebar, which is going to be this section here that you see on the right. You also have, with this theme, an option for a left sidebar if you'd like to have those there. Or the header as well, which there aren't any widgets in the header, but if we wanted to add one, we could do like a gallery and do, have a bunch of different images. Let's do that one. And let's do that one. And you'll see the different images there. If you want to have an image widget on your header, you can do that. And then there's a footer bar and top bar if you want to add widgets to those as well. The top bar, again, is the uppermost element on your site. The footer bar is going to be this guy right here. The bottom-most element. So even below your footer is here. This is your bottom bar. Again, this is theme specific. Not every theme will have a bottom bar, but the Generate Press theme does. Is, again, one I recommend. A great theme. I am partial to it. Let's take a look at the Ocean WP theme real quick to see what kind of options it has. So we've got the Ocean WP theme here, and I'm on just a sample post. You can see the widget area has the default sidebar, and it also has 2 other widget areas, but this particular page doesn't display them. But we have the sidebar as well as 4 different footer widget areas. So again, if we want to add categories, we can do that. And let's do footer 2. We're going to add, recent comments. No, not recent comments. Let's do recent posts. That's what those look like. They'll just be, from left to right. So, footer 1, footer 2, footer 3, footer 4. And again, as you change the rendering to mobile, those will stack as well, which looks pretty good. And then your default sidebar is going to be the right sidebar. So again, the search, the recent posts, the comments, archives, categories, and meta. All right, let's go back and explore the next element with the 2019 theme. Just another quick note about widgets. Keep your reader's experience in mind, like the customer experience, how that's going to be. If you have 50 million different things on your widgets on your sidebar in your footer, I mean that can be a lot, and it can kind of distract or create a negative experience. Or because you can choose to put, if you display ads on your site, you can put those on there. But just keep in mind the reader experience, and look at the different renderings between desktop and mobile, and make sure there isn't just 50 million things going on and really causing more of a distraction. Um, you really want your readers to focus on the content, because that's what the blog is all about. So just wanted to make sure and mention that. The next element on the 2019 theme, that is homepage settings. So let's take a look at that. You're going to have the option, and this is pretty much standard across, I think, most themes. I haven't tested every single theme, but most themes, you can display your latest posts as your homepage, which are going to be in reverse chronological order, as it says here. So meaning your most recent post first, and then the next after that, and so on. Or you can create a static page. Now, if you look, as I clicked that, some additional settings popped up where we get to select what our home page is and what our post page is. So if you don't have any pages yet, this will be blank. We have a sample page. I'll go ahead and select that for now, although I'm not going to keep that as my home page, but you get the idea. For the post page, typically you have your blog page that is called blog, that lists all of your blogs in reverse chronological order, all your blog posts, that is. So you would want to select that there, because you'll need to tell it like which page is my home page, which page is my blog post page. So it'll need to know that. You can add new pages as well. So even if you don't have any content on there but want to add a page, you can call it home page. You may actually not want to call it that, because that's what will result in like search, what's what will display rather in search results. But this is just an example for you all. And of course it'll be blank, but at least it's something that you can go back and create or edit later, which later in this series, when I cover pages, I'm going to cover a page builder called Elementor. They have a free version that I use to create pages, and so it's a great way to create pages via blocks, like element blocks or content blocks. And so I'm going to show you guys that and how to create a nice looking page. But that's for a little later in the series. I'm not going to cover that right now. But at least for these settings, you'll be able to tell it whether you want a static home page, which is something that pretty much doesn't change. You can update it from time to time, but it pretty much stays the same, which is something like mine, if you will. Learn to Earn Blogging is a static page. So this pretty much is the same. It doesn't change. It's a static page that has, kind of a little note from me, some content blocks, a freebie, kind of what you can expect, my tagline. So, pretty basic stuff. But the other, though, if you want to use blog posts, it works well for Chasing Foxes. So if you go to Chasing Foxes, this is a lifestyle blog. Their homepage, showcases their latest posts. So this is their latest post right here. You can see their main menu is they're different. They have categories as well: travel, food, how to blog, resources, style guide, money, lifestyle. But their homepage has all their different posts, and as you scroll down, all these different posts you can see. Another one is savorysaver.com. Jamie's homepage here is his latest post. So you can see on January 3rd, his latest post displays, and then from December 26th, shepherd pie, and so on. So really, I mean, I think it depends on the niche you're in, and as to whether you want a static homepage to really kind of display, what you're all about, and to immediately, as someone lands on your site, tell them, what your brand is, who you are, what they can expect, what's in it for them, or if you just want them to land right on your posts and just start seeing, I think it works well for like food bloggers, lifestyle blogs, maybe, fashion or like super niche blogs. It may work best to kind of go straight to the posts. Otherwise, you may want to have some sort of static homepage that the reader lands on. And this is pretty much going to be the same between the GeneratePress, Ocean, WP, and 2019. So I'm not going to, go to those other themes to show you that. All right, the last element that we can customize with the 2019 theme is additional CSS. So this is meant to be able to create your own CSS, which CSS stands for Cascade Styling Sheets, which is just a way to update your site's layout, some of the structure, the colors, padding, margin. You can move elements around with CSS, but it's getting into web development code, if you will, like HTML, CSS. So you do need to know that to be able to put that in here, but there's just a blank canvas here where you can add CSS to change different elements. Now you've got to be able to know which element you're wanting to change, and so you need to know what those are. And so if you don't know what that is, if you're not comfortable with CSS, then you don't really need to do anything with this. But as you become comfortable with HTML and CSS, I mean, W3 Schools is a really great resource to be able to learn CSS. It's kind of scary at first, but once you get in there and use it and get used to it, it's actually, it's pretty intuitive and not too difficult to use and to change things via CSS. So, get in there and do that if you are bold enough to do it. You have that option. So those are the 6 elements that you can update with the 2019 theme. Let's head back over to GeneratePress to see what other elements we have there. All right, we're back on the free GeneratePress theme, and as you can see, we have 9 different elements here, so 3 additional elements that we can customize. This premium module is available. You can ignore that. Any free version that has a premium option will have that here. They're going to want to try to upsell you, which again I would actually recommend. With GeneratePress, at least, you do get quite a bit more robust functionality with their premium version. And again, it's just a one-time $50 payment. But let's see, we have layout. So we can actually go in and change the layout. So for instance, the container. So the container is going to be your content area. You can think of that as a content area. So when you see or hear the term full width, that means pretty much, from one side of the page to the other side of the page. Container is going to be within that. So you can set the container width, which I recommend for blog posts, pages that you set a container width to, no larger than 1100 pixels, or sometimes you may see it as a percentage. You may want to keep that no larger than like 75%. And the reason for that is when you go, full screen and you got your content out there and someone's looking at this on a huge desktop monitor, you don't want your content stretched from one end of the monitor to the other end. You don't want them having to like scan the entire screen to read your blog post. You want to keep it fairly tight and contained. Try to get my hands in here. There we go. Holy smokes, that's hard to do. You want to keep it contained, within a certain, 1100, 1000 to 1100 pixels. So the content's, easy to read, again, creating a good customer reader experience. So That's what container is. Separate container, so watch this. So if I do separate containers to one container, you're going to see all of this area disappear. So it's just one big container. Everything is within one container. So you have the option to do that or separate them. I kind of like the separate containers myself. You know what? Let me change this real quick and see if you can see it. You can't really see it render. Well, if I make it smaller, there you go. Now you can see that render. So now you kind of know what the container is. If I made it really small, 700 pixels, that's, that's what it's going to look like. So let's keep it around 1100 and save. What else do we have? We have header. We can change the header. We can change it to, for the navigation and center it. You can do navigation after and center. You can do the right. You can do left. You really have some really neat options, or you can do current or default. Header width, again, you can say full or contained. If I want to do it contained, it's going to be contained. As you can see here, it's no longer full width. It's contained to that 1100 pixels that we selected earlier. So I'm going to keep that actually full. You can see here that it's now full width from one side of the screen to the other. Inner header width, so I want that to be contained or full. So inner header is just going to be the content. So the content within the header, whether you want that full or contained. And you have to excuse the dog. She is getting crazy out there. Okay, so the inner header width will be the content, whether you want that contained or full, and then the header alignment, whether you want it centered, right or left. So I'm going to keep it left. I think that looks best. But so you can customize the header. You can customize the primary navigation. Again, you can do whether you want it full, contained, left, right, below the header, above the header, drop down direction. So all these different elements. And let's take a look at it from the mobile view. Right, we've got the little hamburger with the drop down direction. You have all these different elements that you can customize with just the navigation. Again, sidebar you can customize. If you have the different layout, like if you want a left sidebar, a right sidebar, and the content. You can decide if you want that for your blog, a single post, or just kind of the default sidebar layout. You can customize all of that. You can customize your footer. How many footer widgets you want. You can have up to 5 widgets with the free Generate Press theme. So you can select that. Back to top button, you can enable that, which that's going to be this little guy here, which you can press and it'll take you all the way back to the top if you want that enabled. And then the blog. So content type, I want it to be excerpts. I want it to just be like a quick little snippet of the post and show all of those, not the full thing. Go ahead and save that. Let's see what else we got. That's the layout. So you can really customize the look and feel with the layout. We went through colors. Let's go through typography. So we didn't see this with the 2019 theme. You can change, the font size, the line height, the paragraph margin, the different heading types. So I just want the heading to be inherent, or you can specifically say what heading size you want it to be, and you can again select it for mobile and desktop. I can say for mobile I want it to be, right now it's 30 pixels, and for desktop I want it to be 40 pixels. So you can really start to customize down to specific details for specific headings, the different levels, heading 1, header 2, header 3, and so on. So you can really start to customize your typography here, which is pretty cool. What else? We had, I think general was the third one. So cache dynamic CSS. So anytime you have an option to cache anything, definitely do that, because it's going to help performance and speed up your site. So if you have any options to do that, definitely make sure that is enabled. So those were the additional elements with the free Generate Press theme. Let's go back and look at Ocean WP real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, we've got the Ocean WP free theme back active. And one of the first things that I see are general options. So we didn't have this with 2019. So with general options, you have another layer here where you can customize the general styling, the general settings, page titles, all these different things. The scroll to top that is enabled. So again, as you're scrolling down, you'll have that little button that'll allow you to scroll back to the top. Go back. Page title, you can customize that, so show on all devices, or hey, I want the title to show only on desktop, so hide on mobile, hide on tablet, or hide on both. I only want it on desktop, or I want it on all devices. I want them to be H1. So you definitely want titles to be H1s. That's definitely the SEO 101 is your page title to be H1 tags, and then any other titles you use within your post to be H2 and beyond. So if you have an H2 and then you have a subheading under that, it'd be an H3, and then a subheading under that would be an H4. But again, that's SEO another time. We won't go into that now. You can update padding, so the area around a specific element. Breadcrumbs. So breadcrumbs is going to be something that displays at the top of your post generally. I guess you can tell what position you want it, absolute right or under tile. But breadcrumbs is just going to show your the page level. So if you go from your home page to your post page to another layer of page, it's going to show that. It's going to show home, page 1, page 2. And it's going to display either in the right or under the title somewhere. So if you have that option, that's what breadcrumbs means. What else do we have here? Let's look at general settings. So again, we can talk about whether we want it boxed, wide. So I'm assuming wide is going to be from page to page. So a lot of these settings are the same. They're just used different terms. So like Generate Press used full width and contained. So this says like wide, boxed, and separate. So that are just the different definition types between themes. Yours may say something else, but generally they all kind of do the same thing. So if you want the right sidebar, left sidebar, no sidebar, double sidebar, you can select that here. So really Ocean WP gives you quite a bit of customization options here for like your search results page, your pages. So and again, the neat thing about WordPress and most themes is so you can select a default. So you say, okay, for all pages, I want there to be no sidebars. But then as you're creating a page, you can generally override the default at the page level. So as you're creating a new page, you can say, I know the default is this, and it'll say default. But you can generally select, hey, actually for this specific page only, I want there to be a right sidebar or a left sidebar. So you set the default here, but you can always typically customize it at the page or post level. That's general setting. Let's look at general styling. You can select primary colors, primary hover color, site background. If you want to have a specific background or background image, you can select that here. And then again, link and link hover colors, set those here. And again, all of these are going to be the default for every single link on your site. So a great way to be on brand. Like if you have brand colors, you want your links to be a specific brand. When people land on your site, they know it's your site. Definitely select all of that here. It is going to be time consuming in the beginning to set your site up, but definitely spend the time to do it. It's well worth it to make sure you're on brand. You select a specific color palette where you're not just all over the place and using the full rainbow. Like you make sure you have a good 2 to 3 primary colors, and then maybe 2 to 3 more secondary colors that you use for links and things like that. And you can set all that here. Pagination. So that's going to be options for like when you're on your blog posts, and once you have a good number of blog posts and you have page numbers. So you've got 50 posts and it shows 5 per page. So you're going to have 10 pages. That you can set how that looks here. So how you want that aligned, how you want the page numbers, the font size to be, the color, all of that. That's what that means. This specific theme allows you to change that. Forms, input area, text area, you can change that. Theme buttons. So again, this kind of is based off of your brand. What color do you want your buttons to be? What kind of padding how big do you want it to be? How small do you want it to be? That's kind of what the padding means around it, around the text. And if you want there to be a different hover over the color, different things like that, you can select that here. 404 error page. So this is pretty neat. So when someone lands on one of your pages that's broken, or if they land or if they search for something and it can't be found, it's great to have a 404 error page. So the GeneratePress theme has a default 404 page, which is great. It comes custom with it, or out of the box functionality. You can also customize it and make it your own and make it fun too. Like, oops, didn't find something, and have a funny picture on there. But this is where you can select that. So definitely want that on. If you don't, it may just say like, this page can't be found. So you may want to make it kind of fun. I mean, hopefully, readers don't land on pages that don't exist often and get a 404 error. But if they do, if it occurs, it happens. You may want to make it fun. You may want to customize it and make it say something kind of fun. So you can either select a specific template you created, or a layout, or what that looks like. So you do have that option with this theme. So you actually have quite a bit of elements to customize here. So again, it has a typography one and tons of different options here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but as you can see, you can select the different typography for each of these elements. So you can have different ones for each heading type, or probably just a default for all headings, which probably would be the easiest. How you want your body to look, how you want your font size, your line height, all of that for like your content, like your blog posts, logo, top bar, your menu items, your titles, your subheadings, your breadcrumbs, widget areas, copyright. I mean, you can really customize this thing to like specific elements, which is pretty neat. But it's also, again, can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. This could be really time consuming if you chose this theme. That's why I chose actually this one as this example, because I wanted to show you the basic of the basic with 2019, kind of a middle ground with GeneratePress, and then the Ocean WP. And there may even be more with even more elements, but for a free theme, this has quite a few elements that you can customize. So, but there may even be more. We've got, the top bar, which we mentioned before, the header area, the blog, your sidebars, your footer widgets, and footer bottom, which is this very, bottom-most element here. You can customize all of that. So whether you want it enabled or not, whether you want it to show, see, I just took it off, so now it's no longer there. I'll enable it back so you can see it. There it is. Whether you want it on all devices or just on desktop, or maybe just on mobile and desktop or something. So whether you want more padding. So let's look at padding real quick. Like, let's change this to 35 and 35 and make this a little bit bigger. See how it's thicker now? Like, how we added more padding to the top and bottom. Where's my hands at? To make it, larger. You can even add padding to the left or right to bring, show you what that's going to look like. If you add padding to the left or right, it kind of pushes everything to the middle, if you will. So I'm going to change that back, because I actually like to have footer elements all the way to the left and all the way to the right. I just like the way that looks personally, but you can change that if you'd like. All the different background color, font color, link color, hover color, all of that. you can update here. See how it looks on mobile. Again, it's going to stack. These elements are going to stack on mobile. So quite a few things you can customize with the Ocean WP theme. So all right, that's it. I think I've taken up enough of your time today. So that is the WordPress customizer. I mean, I didn't cover everything. I mean, it's almost impossible to cover everything in every theme, but I hope with this video you at least got, you know, a good understanding of what you can customize, the different elements you can customize, and really how to navigate this, what each section, you know, is, what it is that you're customizing. If not, let me know, and I can specifically talk about, you know, a specific element or section. Leave me a comment, shoot me an email, you know, subscribe, and let me know so I can make that video for you, or I can, you know, make that tutorial. But for now, this is a good overview. Again, I'd recommend the free Generate Press theme, and then the premium version as well. Really great, very super lightweight theme, a great option for you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to watch the next video and the next part of this series. I'm going to focus on, I'm going to get into pages, posts, I'm going to get into plugins, which plugins you need. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe so you're notified of when those come out. And until next time, take it easy.